So you trust your brokerage to handle all the big picture stuff, right? The compliance, the accounting, all that back office stuff you don't want to worry about. But what if that trust is, well, misplaced? What if the place you hang your license is actually a ticking time bomb and you're the one who's going to get caught in the blast? Yeah, let's get into it because your broker's audit can and sometimes does become your personal nightmare.
It almost always starts with a number that seems kind of small, right? Especially in real estate. So in this recent case from California, auditors first found this, 20 grand. And you're probably wondering, where'd that come from? Well, turns out the property management company was just pocketing rental screening fees for credit reports they never even pulled. A little bit here, a little bit there, and boom, it adds up. But trust me, that was just the tip of the iceberg. Because once those auditors started digging, they found another $50,000. And look, this wasn't just some pocketed fees anymore. No, this was a direct shortage in the trust accounts. We're talking client funds, earnest money, security deposits, just gone. And all of a sudden, that small little problem, it has a much bigger, much scarier friend. So you do the math, right? You put those two numbers together, and what do you get? You get a $70,000 red flag waving right in your face. This whole case study is just a perfect example of how a tiny little inquiry, something as simple as screening fees, can completely unravel this massive web of compliance failures. It really shows you that those small, sloppy habits, they're usually just symptoms of a much deeper disease in how a brokerage handles its money. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. Hey, I'm not the managing broker. That's not my job. Well, I'm here to tell you that that mindset is not just wrong, it's dangerous. Because that poor supervision, that sloppy money handling at the top, it absolutely becomes your problem. If you're working under the umbrella of a brokerage that's not compliant, you are smack dab in the line of fire. When it comes to this stuff, there's just no middle ground. And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. There's no such thing as partial compliance. You can't be kinda compliant. You can't be mostly following the rules, especially with client funds. When an audit happens, it is all or nothing. It's a pass/fail. And if your brokerage fails, believe me, those consequences ripple right on out to you. Really, this whole thing boils down to two totally different mindsets. On one hand, you have the view that handling client funds is just a back office task, something someone else deals with. Then you have the correct view that it is a core compliance obligation for every single person operating under that license. And let me tell you, a brokerage that sees it as the first one, that place is a major risk to everyone who works there. So let's get personal. What's actually at stake for you? Well, first off, your professional reputation can be absolutely destroyed just by association. Second, and this is the big one, your client's funds are at risk. And finally, the thing you worked so hard for, your own license could be put in jeopardy. And it doesn't even matter if you're not the one who messed up. You can still get caught up in the mess and face serious consequences. All right, so now you know the risks. That's the scary part. But how do you spot them before the auditors come knocking? The good news is you don't have to be an accountant. You just need to know what a healthy operation looks like and what it doesn't. This is all about learning to recognize the red flags, what I like to call the signs of sloppy money. Okay, let's break these down. First up, where's your commission check coming from? If it's being paid directly from a trust account instead of the general operating account, that's a massive red flag. Huge. Next, are there weird delays in getting earnest money deposited? You need to pay attention to that. And listen to how people talk around the office. If you hear casual chatter about shuffling funds or borrowing from one account to cover another, even if they're joking, that signals a really dangerous culture. Another big one, no formal written policies. And finally, what happens when you ask questions? If leadership gets all defensive or just brushes you off, that's not a casual culture, my friend. That's a major, major risk. And this quote just nails why all those little things matter so much. A routine audit can start with one simple question and end up uncovering, as the experts said, a kitchen sink of violations. I love that analogy. Think about it. A messy sink often means you've got way bigger problems with the plumbing underneath, right? It's the same idea. That one little red flag you noticed, that could be the single thread that when you pull it, unravels the whole entire thing. Okay, so let's shift gears here. We've gone from just passively observing to being proactive. It's time to start asking questions. Remember, you have a right to know how your brokerage operates, especially when it's your clients and your license on the line. So here are the specific, powerful questions you should be asking, like right now. First one is simple, but it's absolutely foundational. Ask this. Are our trust accounts reconciled to the bank statements every single month? And the answer needs to be a clear yes. This isn't, some optional best practice. It's basic financial hygiene. If the answer you get is sometimes, or when we get to it, or you just can't get an answer at all, that is a major problem. All right, question number 2. Just walk up and ask, can you show me our formal written policies for handling client funds? A well-run brokerage, they should be able to pull that document out instantly. In fact, they should be proud of it. If they can't produce it or they start hemming and hawing, it probably means they're just making it up as they go. And that is a recipe for absolute disaster. And number 3, get really specific. Pick a super common transaction. Ask how exactly are earnest money deposits processed and tracked, from the second that check comes in the door to the moment it's dispersed at closing. The clarity of their answer, or, the lack of clarity, is going to tell you everything you need to know about their financial discipline. So, let's say you've been asking these questions, and the answers are making you really nervous. Well, now we got to talk about the final step. And look, it might not be easy, but you have to know when it's time to walk away. This isn't about quitting, it's about taking control of your career and your future. I want you to burn this term into your brain. Fiduciary duty. At the end of the day, this is your number one obligation. It's not to your broker, it's to your clients. And a huge part of that duty is making sure their money is being handled by a brokerage that has clean hands. Protecting them means you got to be in a place that actually respects what this duty means. I get it. It's so easy to feel like leaving your brokerage is being disloyal, especially if you've got friends there. But let's be crystal clear about this. When compliance is on the line, leaving is not disloyal. It is professional self-preservation. It's you protecting your reputation, protecting your clients, and protecting that license you worked so damn hard to get. So I'm going to leave you with this one last thought. A good broker, a great broker, welcomes your questions. They're never afraid of your curiosity because, well, they have nothing to hide. So the final question you need to ask yourself is this: is my broker afraid of my questions?